This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, imagination connoisseurs. Welcome to another members-only chat with the one and only Viceroy of Verisimilitude himself, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Hello, Rob.
Well, Roberto, it's so good to see you. It's so good
you.
to see everyone. You know how much I do love these chats. See, we have a lot of new members and a lot of new subscribers, so it's always great when we get to meet face to face. I mean, I do enjoy these chats.
Yeah, and we've been getting
I always learn something new.
Some of those new members have been joining us in the chat, so it's been fun to have folks, new faces join us here as well. So
I mean, it's wild. We've been doing these membership chats for years now.
It started with your birthday. Remember, it was during COVID. We did your birthday chat, and we had even a trolley live feed from Seattle, from a Washington trolley. Remember?
Yeah, with Captain Brad Brickley.
Yeah,
Captain Brad was that was awesome.
Yeah. So it's become now.
I still want to rent out. I mean, I don't know if I could ever get the money to afford it, but like if we ever make another movie or I get to do the 4K version of Free Enterprise, it would be awesome to rent out a Western Washington ferry and throw a party on it.
Do like a mini con or something on the ferry.
Yeah. But you'd want to have them serve liquor and food and it'd probably cost $1 million to throw a party like that. I'm not exactly a studio, but
whatever impact that has on the infrastructure that day and whatnot with people's commutes and stuff, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to. I wonder like maybe like after the ferries stop running, or I don't know if Brad would know, and Brad would have to be the captain.
That's right. All right. Well, I think people have been waiting our start of the show here, so we were a few minutes late. So we're gonna go ahead and let in all of our members into the chat. So as I let everybody in, I remind folks who are watching us on YouTube that if you want to join the chat in the Zoom room, in the conference call that we put together here, become a member. It takes as little bit as $1 a month on YouTube, and then that way, by becoming a member, you then have access to the chat link when we send it out.
And also, I should say that I've always forgotten to mention this. People have sent in tips.
Yes.
During these, and I forget to look at the tip thing, and so I apologize. I answer them later on the show, but if you're sending in a tip, we can see super chats, but the tip thing, I have to go to a different.
That's right.
Area.
I don't have access to the tip.
Yeah, I will do that right now because I feel bad when I can't.
Yeah. So
by the way, I got a great article for today's show later.
Oh, good.
Tonight's show.
You have a show coming up tonight. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have so people can send super chats here as well. I read those. Remember the tips. I don't get those, so Rob will do his best to remember to get to those. And then for those of you who do want to participate in the chat, there is a raise your hand gesture in Zoom. That way, that puts you in the queue so that I can call on you as you raise your hand. And that way, Rob will entertain your thoughts and questions. We usually do it 7 minutes in heaven style. We do have 7 minutes with Rob here. So we will go ahead and get started with our first caller, who is Anthony Plowden. Let me go ahead and have you join. Welcome, Anthony.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on? How are you, man?
Good, Rob. How are you doing? How you doing? How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Doing good. A house full of puppies and dogs.
Keeping you busy, huh?
Yeah, and this time we're like, people are already calling about these puppies. It's crazy. I'm done.
Now, let me get this right. Is this from the same one from a year?
Yes. So we did some research and like I didn't want to do this. It was going to be for fun.
Right.
And I talked to so I did a lot of research because I don't know much about raising puppies, and I didn't want to. So
Right.
we've had 3 litters, and they said it was the best thing to do is have 3 litters right away, and then you're done. Then
Okay.
same puppies, same. So we're doing that, and what's been so gratifying, which is a byproduct that I didn't ever think about, is we've stayed in touch with everybody who've taken the puppies. And the thing about these puppies is we raise them in our bedroom.
Okay.
So we have a pen that they're in, and the pen goes out onto the back patio. So we're kind of pre-teaching them, we're housebreaking them kind of at the same time, so they go outside to go to the bathroom and stuff, and then they're socialized around our dogs.
Okay.
So, but the which is really fun, but the byproduct is you get very attached to these puppies.
Right.
Because they all develop personalities and you're playing with them. But the people that have taken them, a lot of them are families with small children. And because, a lot of people have criticized this, how many dogs are in shelters? And I'm like, well, these are the way we're raising these puppies is for people that, that have small kids that have to know that these dogs are the kind of dogs that they can trust their kids with. And one of them's being raised as a service dog, but it's been really fun to see everybody get these dogs. It's been very gratifying. So
that's good. That's great. That's
I'm done.
Even though keeping you up, that's great.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, cleaning up after them all, and they're tearing up the yard, all that stuff. It's fine. But you know what it is? It's another thing I had never done. I never had a dog growing up.
Yeah.
My mom's a crazy cat lady. So until I met Elizabeth, I'd never owned dogs. I didn't know the singular joy of canines.
Yeah, I'm finding out too, Rob, that too, and even in my own personal life, that life is all about first. And even though, like, as we get older, like I'm 45 years old, I'm experiencing right now at this point in my life so many firsts that it's shocking and it's scaring me. And I feel like I'm back in college again when I was a teenager, kind of timid. But at the same time, it's like if I would have stayed in the same situations that I was in a year ago or 2 years ago, I wouldn't be experiencing this right now.
No, but isn't that the best? I think
it is, but it's scary at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's good. But it's a good feeling because you feel very productive,
Yeah, and I think you don't have to. I look at Clint Eastwood's directing a movie at 93.
Right.
Shatner just had a premiere of his documentary here in LA. He turned 93 on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at these people, there's no this paradigm that I think we grew up with where our parents retired at 65 or whatever. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I mean, I literally want to die on the job. Hopefully the job will be done.
Right.
Okay, we're finished. I mean, it's there's no reason, especially with the technology that exists.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you have to stop creating. I was watching this really depressing TikTok with all these entertainment workers, editors and development executives and people that are out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've got like 6 things I'm juggling. The audio drama that I'm in the middle of casting now. And it's a 10-episode audio drama. We're getting in the Max Allan Collins is writing the script. So we're doing that. I'm finishing up White Devils. I was just looking at we had a sequence. I had to pick which of the 3 sequences, this montage that we're sticking in the movie. I'm doing that. I'm finishing up a script. I'm just doing a bunch of, but it's all self-generated.
Yeah.
And you don't know where the money's coming from, but you just keep going.
Because it's your passion. It's your passion.
Yeah. I mean, and then doing YouTube shows and the YouTube, sometimes the thing that saved me is going on doing a YouTube show keeps me, it always reminds me of the things that I love and interacting. I would have to say lately, I feel like going more philosophical on the show. Like I'm tired of just doing reviews, and I'll still scream about modern Star Trek because I can't help it. I'm going to do it today. Not on this show, on another show, but I do. It keeps me energized, and you remember and the interaction with the audience has been incredible. Even if people hate my guts, they've been hating my guts in an intelligent way.
Right.
And I love that. I mean, if you want to tell me I'm a fucking asshole, please do so, but do it in a unique way, in a way that's, you know.
Like even with your observations, like, and I don't have a minute left, but
No, you can keep going. It's fine.
when you talked about the alien Romulus, like I was listening to the show again today, and you brought up the point of when I saw the trailer, it looks good, but I'm scared because it's giving me Prometheus vibes because of the cinematography and the way it looks. When you made that point, I literally said the same point that you said like 5 minutes before you said it, to where it doesn't look dark and it doesn't look gritty enough. So it's scaring me because it's looking a little too clean and too pristine.
It needs film grain.
It does. So it's just
turn down the contrast.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that even like with this Romulus and even with the new Halloween and whatever they're doing with that, I just wish somehow these just do something new and something fresh and stop necessarily going back to the original 1978 Halloween film, or just do something new.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the title Romulus has me intrigued. Like, how is that going to work? And well, I saw an interview with Fede Alvarez when he was talking about the fact that James Cameron was telling him that the first time they screened Aliens for an audience, the audience was really, really, really quiet. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until when Ripley comes out in the power loader and says, "Get away from her, you bitch," mm-hmm. the entire audience erupted. Mm-hmm. And that's when Cameron knew. He's like, "Oh, I had them the whole time." And he didn't know it. And Fede Alvarez said the same thing. He goes, we showed this to an audience for the first time, and I was sitting there and I was wondering, are they into it? Do they like this? And he didn't say what this was. And I'm glad he wasn't going to ruin it. He said, then this thing happens. And the audience erupted in the way I imagined James Cameron when he was telling me. And that's when I knew, like, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited only because it looks, I love the fact that they made it. To me, here's what I would say. I'd say I love Blade Runner 2049. I know a lot of people have problems with it, but I loved it. As far as the sequel goes, it tried to do something interesting and unique. I'm hoping that Alien Romulus will be the Blade Runner 2049 of the Alien franchise, if that makes any sense. But it was good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, Anthony. Yeah, I like that it had a bit of the Fede Alvarez Evil Dead tinge to it, and if you can take that level of visceral stuff that Fede did with Evil Dead and put it in the Alien universe, I think that would be a good combination.
And also his movie Don't Breathe.
Yes.
Don't Breathe is fucking great.
Yeah. And it's basically an alien movie. It's a blind guy, basically, who's the alien, right?
Was good. I mean, it was good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking all of 20th Century slate. I've asked Steve Asbell if I can interview him, the president of 20th Century, but I have to go through proper channels. So I wrote a letter to, because I'm friends with him, but I can't interview him officially without going through proper channels. And I wrote a letter because I want to interview him for the 1000th episode. Right. But he's got The First Omen coming out, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Alien Romulus. The First Omen had to go back to the ratings board like 4 or 5 times because it and I'm like,
I know that Omen hasn't had the greatest track record in the modern incarnations, but I think this one might redeem it. Just the trailer alone has been pretty. Pretty
you know what? You know me. You give me a good movie with Satan as the protagonist or the antagonist. Anybody that can bring me a good Satan.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I've got a wide. It doesn't matter. I'll take Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate, which is still amazing. Yeah. I'm a fan of man.
Yeah.
I'm down here with my nose to the grindstone, and but it First Omen looks great. And it's interesting that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was made for $30 million less than War for the Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. But that trailer, it looks really interesting. I'm a huge fan of that franchise. I've always been. I went into Rise of the Planet of the Apes going, this is gonna suck.
Right.
And I loved it.
Yeah. No, they really, that whole trilogy really nailed it.
Yeah, it really. I mean, War was not as good as I wanted it to be, but it wasn't bad.
No. But you watch it as a 3-chapter story. I think it accomplished what I wanted to do. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. We got Kevin coming up next. Welcome, Kevin, to the chat. Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
All right.
Somebody sent me an article about what's wrong with Star Trek, and I read it. I'm like, this is catnip for me.
I was gonna say it's kind of off topic. It's just conversation.
There's nothing off topic here.
Well, the little theater that we go to, it's just a 1-screen family-owned theater, and it was just sold to another family. And the first thing they did was they opened up on Monday. They used to be closed on Mondays, and on Mondays now they're showing classic movies. And so a couple weeks ago we watched Wizard of Oz, and then
Nice.
And then this past week we just watched Casablanca. The one I missed was Close Encounters, because they only show one.
Do they have
screening.
is it a good projection system and good
You
sound?
know, I have to look. It's okay. I mean, it's not like something,
Yeah.
I think the sound is kind of up to date. But the picture, I know they did some updating. I have to look. I know
Because that's where, I mean, theaters, a lot of family-run theaters, the place where a lot of theaters skimp out is in the light in terms of the projection, because they'll dim it, and you frequently you can tell because it's you can see that sometimes it breathes if you're watching a print, but if it's a DCP, it just looks slightly dim.
Okay.
And they do that because those lights are the projector bulbs are expensive,
right,
and they last longer if you dim them out. And I hate that. I hate when they do that, because now, I mean, I'm sure Casablanca was probably were projecting off a new DCP they got from Warner Brothers off that transfer,
probably,
or they might be projecting off of a disc, but that new transfer they put out was beautiful.
I was trying to look on here because I know on their website they actually talked about what they've been putting new money, because I remember them telling me, because I talked to the owner the other day, and I was asking him, actually, or it was the son of the owner who actually runs it, because it's a family. They live down in San Diego, but the son is running it. And I was asking him, how, why do people not do this that much in the first place? And he said, I guess it's very difficult with the studios to get the okay to distribute and to show these films.
It is. You can't show them publicly without their permission. I mean, that's one of the things that's really problematic. Like, there's here where we live, there's a venue, a beautiful venue that used to be an old theater, and they took out the sloping floor and they flattened it out, and you can have quinceañeras there and weddings there, but I'm like, I'd love to get Lemley to come in and buy this thing and turn it into a big revival house. But one of the problems is that very reason.
Yeah,
it's hard to get. It becomes a pain in the ass, even though, I could show classic movies there for years without having to repeat myself.
right.
But you have to get permission from a studio to show things publicly. And that becomes, they're not set up to deal with mom and pop businesses that way.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah. So the one thing that's kind of about this thing is they don't always get the movies right. Like, they're going to show Ghostbusters. That one started yesterday, so they're on with that. But like last week, it was Argyle. Well, Argyle's been out for 2 months,
right?
And they'll show them for like a week, and then the next movie will pop in and things like that. But it's awesome because I wasn't obviously alive during Casablanca and whatnot, and even if it's not the greatest, it's kind of cool to be able to see it in that setting. And it's the fullest that theater has been. For those 2 movies that we've went to, that's the fullest that those have been. I mean, it's a very old community, a lot of retirees, so I kind of expected it, but it was amazing. And just the amount, you can just hear people talking, and like Wizard of Oz, people singing with it, and it was an awesome kind of experience to see that. It was just really cool.
Well, one of the things too that, you know, people talk about the theatrical experience, when you're watching images of human beings much larger than, I mean, like I was talking about, the way we see, we have fixed focal lengths for the way we see with our eyes. So when you get to see people like a close-up of a human face 40 feet wide on a screen, there's something, I mean, I can't speak to the, I couldn't tell you the scientific or the medical reasoning behind it, but there's something that happens with our perception when we're seeing human beings much bigger than we normally see them in real life. And that's what cinema is. And so the reason that I'm such a staunch supporter of seeing things in a theater, you know, or even at home, if you have a big home theater system, is this is my own personal belief. I've got no data to back this up, but you as a person feel it. The experience of watching a movie just go see Dune 2 in an IMAX theater.
Yeah,
you're getting an experience. But even if you watch a drama or any story where you're watching human beings larger than life, you're perceiving it differently. And in a theater, it's almost like being in a sensory deprivation tank. You're seeing and feeling things, and you're being immersed in a story in a way that you cannot duplicate in another venue, unless you have a home theater at home. But even then, you can get up and stop it whenever you want, and your concentration isn't there. And like, I can't speak to the actual, this is just a personal theory that I have, that I use myself as a guinea pig. When I see a movie, I remember a film. Like Quentin Tarantino will walk out of a movie one time and know all the dialogue. Yeah. And I think it's because you open up, you know, it's like what Quado said to Quaid in Total Recall, open your mind, Quaid. I kind of feel that that's kind of the way when you watch films.
Yeah. And the last thing I just wanted to say real quick, my wife went down the rabbit hole.
Uh-oh.
I told her that what you were talking about, she is watching Manifest. And she is on the, I think
has she got to the end of the first season yet?
She's in the 4th season. She has been watching this like there's no tomorrow. And I swear to God, I go to bed a little earlier than her. So, and I'll read, and every night, God, that fucking guy! Oh my God! She just starts yelling and screaming, and she's pissed, and she's like, "Oh my God, this cliffhanger!" And I'm like, "Oh," and and I just said, Rob, not that you have to listen to him, but he says it's a bunch of gobbledygook, but you still want to watch it. And she is doing it. She is totally on it. She's like, there's so much shit that happens. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's so, and you know what? When has she got to the end yet?
No, I think she's on the 4th season.
She'll get to the very end, and I guarantee you she's going to say, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen after the first fucking episode. And you go through this whole thing.
I should ask her now what she thinks is going to happen, and then what happens. But it's just hilarious listening to her.
I mean, that show,
so
man.
Into it. And then it's funny because we watch that, and then we watch something like Shogun, and it's just totally different.
This week's episode of Shogun was really good.
Oh, it's great. I really like it. We just started another show called Hollywood. That's a Netflix show.
Oh yeah. Did you know I watched have you watched any of the 3 Body Problem?
No.
Oh, I had to binge. I couldn't stop watching it. I was watching the whole thing. I'm gonna watch it again.
Anyways, that's all I had today. So
well, thanks for that, Kevin. I cannot wait to hear what your wife thinks.
I will let you know. She is loving it.
Just I hope there's like not a glass of water next to her when or anything that's throwable.
Oh, I think she's dropped a couple. Like she's hit, but nothing bad. It's great. It's great.
Great to see you, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to see you, man.
All right. So Rob, I just realized 3 Body Problem had dropped just like a couple of days ago. It just dropped.
Yeah. On the 21st.
I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet.
You know, I waited it at midnight. I was like, oh, I'm only gonna watch it. I ended up watching 4 episodes till 4 in the morning. It's you know what? It's really low key.
Yeah.
to be honest. It's really low key for a giant, but I quite enjoyed it. As far as adaptations go, I thought it was a pretty great adaptation. They went further than I thought they were going to go.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed it. I really loved the cast. That obviously they had to make a lot of changes,
Right.
but I thought it was pretty true to the spirit of what the books are.
Yeah.
It's funny, I haven't really. I want to read all the or listen to all the rage YouTube videos that have come out, but I don't think anyone's made one yet.
No,
So
no.
I can't wait to jump on that and get people are going to yell and scream or whatever. Kojima, who does the Metal Gear Solid games, who's a genius, he put a long post on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, today, talking about how much he enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
So I was like, all right, because it's, you know what, it's really handsomely made.
Nice.
But for a giant epic science fiction show, it's surprisingly low key and intimate.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the novel is very character based. I mean, it's a very character driven story, so I can see that.
Yeah, it was, and they went further. They're into the second book, so I'm like,
I had heard that they start to introduce concepts from later books already in this one. Yeah,
yeah, they do, which I understand. I mean, they must know what they're doing. Maybe they're just planning on doing 3 seasons. I can't imagine what if people have never read the book and they've watched this series, where the series actually goes. I mean, because it's this very earthbound show with this kind of turns out to, with these group of friends and dealing with all this stuff. And I'm like, how are they going to handle?
Yes.
Well, people just don't know what's coming if they haven't read the books.
And I wouldn't be surprised, Benioff and Weiss, after all the criticism of the last seasons of Game of Thrones, they probably figured, we know exactly where this is going. We have all the books. Weiss and
Benioff did great when they had the books to work off of.
So maybe this time they're just thinking, okay, we've got the whole story. Let's plot it out in a way that makes sense for TV. So
I just think it's great that we're getting epic literary sci-fi. I mean, who would have thought we had Foundation, Dune, 3-Body Problem?
I know.
You know, and there's so much great science fiction material to be mined. It's just, unfortunately, sci-fi by its nature is very cost prohibitive in terms of budgets. But now with the technology that exists, and I really thought that they did the effects, which are kind of sparse in 3-Body Problem, when they're employed, they're really well done.
Oh, cool.
I really enjoyed it. It just felt different. It felt like, I don't know why, I felt like I was watching something made by the BBC. I mean, it's set, it maybe because it was set, in London, but still.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Andy is coming up next. Andy, you should be able to join us now. Oh,
hello, sir.
Hold on. I think I had unmuted you already. I'm asking you to unmute now. You go ahead and try to unmute now, Andy.
You are unmuted.
You are unmuted. There you go.
But we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you now.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had the mute.
Oh, welcome.
How you doing?
How's it going?
How you doing? Yeah, long time no see, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I finally became a member. It was really difficult. Sometimes I know it sounds so ridiculous to talk about the problems of the economy of this country that I love. I love Argentina, all right? But it's so difficult, so many things that outside my country, I know it sounds ridiculous. Why can't you use your credit card to pay for something in dollars? I will not begin because I will use all my 7 minutes on that, and I will not talk about that. I want to use this chance to tell you what I most like about your channel, and you particularly, because it has something to do with a subject of a few reservations ago that you were talking about, all those DEI stuff about why movies in the US are made in a certain way to appease to some group members in the US, and maybe outside the US things are not look the same way, you know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you in that subject what I most like about your job. The channel. This is the thing. My sister lives in the US. I love America, right? My sister has been living there for 25 years. I know a lot of people there. I've been there. Yeah. And I knew people there. And what I like the most there is first of all, people were very nice, and most of all, when they knew that I was just trying to use their language to communicate, you know, they like that. It's just my opinion that the people I encounter in America, I don't know if they didn't care or they didn't know much about outside the US, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like they live, in my opinion, maybe I had a chance to meet some people that it's not you know, the whole US. I'm just saying my experience, all right?
Yeah.
It's like they live in a bubble, and everything has to do with America, the US. And if they make a movie, then we need to make a movie or a series for these issues, these social issues we may have in the US. And then they use that material to export it abroad, so all the, you know, the entire world can see all this stuff. And maybe we don't care about, oh yeah, we need these certain groups to be appeased and to be happy. Why would I care about that? I mean, if you're selling a movie to the rest of the world, I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear with this, but
No. I completely under.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
Because I don't want to get off the rails. I know I have a little time. What I most like about your job, your channel, I've been watching you for 9 years.
Yeah.
Is a long time, almost as long as you've been in YouTube.
Yeah.
And from Collider and all the rest of your shows. And what I found out really quickly is that you care about everything that happens outside the US. You care about the culture of other countries. You care about their movies. You own a few Argentinian movies.
I do.
I mean, it's something that I most like about your channel. You know what I mean? You acknowledge the entire world. It's not that my channel and what I talk about here is about America and everyone who wants to listen is invited. No, you acknowledge everybody. You welcome everybody. That's what I most like about your channel. You know what I mean?
Well, I really thank you very much. I mean, I really appreciate that. I just, you know, it's what's interesting to me is that I'm interested in humanity, and the thing about, like, for instance, storytelling. There are stories from all over the world that are worth hearing, and they're not all the same because people aren't all the same, and the cultures are very, very different. And unless you're what I've discovered, I mean, I haven't traveled enough, but being around, and I've been lucky to live in different places for long periods of time, is, you know, meeting people. There's stuff that we all are which are the same, but there's also stuff that is different. Even just, you know, you go to Spain, for instance. Like, I love Spain, and what I love about Spain is the way the time. Like, in Spain, people go out to dinner at 11 o'clock at night, and this is not something people do in America. In America, where I live now, at 11 o'clock at night, all the restaurants are closed. There's barely any place to go get food. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
In Spain, the night is exciting. The night becomes, you know, people can go have a siesta
And
during
it's
the
the same
day.
here in Argentina. It's absolutely the same. And I should tell you this. I'm absolutely sure you have thousands of fans that are outside the US, thousands of fans that don't speak English, but
Right.
watch your show because they can understand your English. I mean, maybe they cannot speak it, and maybe they are shy and they cannot communicate with you. You know, because it's clear that English is not my first language, right? It's Spanish. But I can at least, in a way, communicate with you, and I love that. But we are very few. There are many fans that are outside the US in non-English speaking countries that are fans of yours. You know what I mean? That are fans of your show that maybe cannot communicate with you, but they understand what you say. They love you as a communicator. You know what I mean?
That's good to hear.
And I want to tell you that we are many fans outside the US that like your show and like your stuff and like to have a chance to communicate with you. And I just wanted to tell you that because this is the first member chat that I can be after becoming a member. And I will start, sending super chats and all that, but because this was my first time in a member chat, I wanted to tell you that I love that you acknowledge the rest of the world, that you are interested in other countries' cultures, you know what I mean? And that you welcome everybody, even if they can't speak English and they will not communicate speaking
Sure.
to you, but they care about your channel because of that, because you care about everybody. You don't care about only what's in English and what is happening only in America, and that's it. That's what I most like about your show. I just wanted to say that, you know.
Well, I
So,
appreciate that, Andy. That's very nice of you to say. And
for May 15th, happy birthday.
Oh. Thank you, sir, and thanks for being here, and thanks for being a member. I mean,
Thank you very much.
you know, that's why these chats are so much fun to have.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, man.
Well,
See
thanks,
you
buddy.
anytime.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, Andy. Tenga un buen día.
Thank you, Roberto.
Adios.
Buen día. Adiós, adiós, adiós.
All right. So we are going to go ahead and move over to Justin Toner. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get my queue updated here. Justin is coming up next.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Bienvenido, Justin.
Yeah. Hi. Doing pretty good actually. So so much stuff going on. Between it's Shogun myself. That's been a really nice, pleasant surprise.
I was dreading it because I love the original so much, but
I haven't seen the original miniseries, so I'm coming into this fresh. But I'm familiar with the time period it's based on. Even though I never read the book, but I'm familiar with like the actual history of that time period in Japan. It's very fascinating stuff. I've always been fascinated by it. So,
no, it's great and it's beautifully made. I mean, I understand that it's taking liberties with the book as the first mini. The book's like 1,200 pages.
Yeah, it's a doorstopper.
Yeah, it's a monstrously large book, but it's great, and I'm really love. I mean, it's amazing that we're getting. The thing is, when you watch a show like that, Hiroyuki was Sonata. He's a producer on the show, so you can see that the people behind making that show care.
Yeah,
the craft and that went into making that. And you can see it immediately. It makes it worth watching, and they really understand what they're doing, and it's a labor of love. And it took them a long time to make that show.
Yeah, it took them like 2 or 3 years for them to film and post production. So
yeah,
it's the time that they put in has paid off because it's fantastic. So it's been fun to watch. I haven't checked out the revival of the X-Men animated series. Everyone's raving about it.
I watched the first 2 episodes. It's good. I mean, you know, I love the X-Men.
Yeah, it's like it sounds like it's good fun. So
yeah,
that's all I can ask for.
It's just I understand why they're doing it, but it is kind of weird to watch the idea that they're doing an X-Men show in '97 that's a follow-up to a 1992 you know, the animated. Like, I get why they're doing it. It's still kind of odd.
But it's good. Odd. It is, but I'm glad people are enjoying it. So it's like I'll be checking out when I have the time. Last night I watched the Roadhouse remake on Prime.
Oh, I can't. I'm gonna watch that today.
Wasn't bad. You know, it's
that's
I know I'm very fond of the original movie, even though I know it's not a great movie. You know, it's like
right.
But it was pretty solid. I wouldn't say it's like a great movie, but I was definitely entertained. The fight scenes are really good. It definitely helped that they had Conor McGregor, legendary UFC fighter.
Yeah,
plays one of the bad guys, and he's something else, man. I don't know about his acting chops yet, but it was very clear he was like, I'm here to have fun. It's like, and the fight scenes with him and Jake Gyllenhaal are really well done. It's like some very interesting camera angles and stuff that
well, Doug Liman's good. I mean, you know, he's been hit and miss, but when he's on, like Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie, I mean, I love that.
Yeah, I liked Gyllenhaal, what Gyllenhaal did in the movie, so it was fun. You know,
that's good.
It was exactly what I expected.
Right.
So that was a nice surprise. Let's see. Man. So last weekend, Vinegar Syndrome did their halfway to Black Friday.
Yeah.
So, everyone was like, Navy SEALs in 4K? Really? That was the reaction.
Whatever they can get, I mean, it's
I
they've
haven't
been,
pre-ordered yet because it's like I know it's not a great movie. I'm kind of fond of it. I watched that a lot on cable when I was growing
yeah,
up.
they've been putting out a lot of, and their partner labels are putting out a lot of great stuff too. I mean, I can't
Guilty pleasure
even,
movie.
the amount of movies that are coming out on 4K. I mean,
Oh, when I
as I was
saw
like,
Purple Rain, I immediately thought of you. I was like, oh, Rob's
was-
gonna be a happy boy.
it was so funny when I said, I was on Twitter going, man, it's the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. I'd love to get it in
Where's the
4K with a Dolby Atmos mix. And someone's like, there's no market for that movie. And I wrote back, I'm like, I don't know. I think there is. And days later, there's the announcement. I love Purple. I love that movie.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
very, yeah. You've talked about you anyway. So as soon as I was like, oh, Rob, that's gonna make Rob's day. Coming in 4K.
It makes my day. I hope they give it some great packaging, and I just can't believe that movie's 40 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, it's bizarre. Wild. It's bizarre to me that. But then again, it's the whole post Star Wars pop culture landscape is bizarre. I mean, the way we've watched it develop and where we're at now.
Yeah. I didn't. So I pre-ordered the Navy SEALs, and of course I got the China O'Brien. 1 and 2 set. It's like it's Cynthia Rothrock. Gotta have it.
No, it's and the stuff that they're making is so great. I just got Kino Lorber sent me a box, and it had great 4K discs in it, and one of them is North Dallas 40, which is a football movie that I really my dad took me to see it.
Yeah,
and Dolby Vision. I mean,
Dolby Vision. Wow.
In Dolby Vision, yeah. And I'm like, I okay, and I'll because I love the soundtrack. I have the score for that movie on CD.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna eventually get my hands on the new Cameron 4K. I know
I would love to have the new Cameron 4K.
Yeah, I know they sold out. I wanted to wait because I was because of the about the transfers, but I'm glad I waited because it's like everyone's like, okay, Abyss, yeah, Aliens, yeah, True Lies. It sounds like True Lies is the odd one out of the three.
Although I gotta say, a friend of mine who works in QC in post production called me up and he goes, "You're gonna think I'm out of my mind, but I really like the way True Lies looked." I'm like, "Come on!" And he goes, "No." So, and I'm frustrated. This is the 4th time I've been screwed over by Amazon in terms of I didn't get the Witness box set, I didn't get the Conan box set, and these discs I didn't get.
Sold out the Conan and Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, I know.
Set.
So I got to go to the secondary market and get it. Which I don't. They keep doing this to me, and I'm like, and all of this and the debacle of these Cameron titles is they underestimated by tens of thousands of units how many they were going to sell.
Because it sold out real fast. And they're like, we're working to make more.
They had no idea. And it's like and I was talking to Bill Hunt about this. This is the problem with the entertainment business overall right now, is that the people that work in the business don't know their own business. And so as Bill was explaining it to me at Disney, there's so many levels of corporate. When I worked for Disney Home Entertainment, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, whatever. And the people that were there in the aughts, like 2000 to 2008, they all knew their business. They all knew, they had been there from the Laserdisc days, making special features. They knew what their catalog was all about. Now the people that are actually working at the studios, all the institutional knowledge is gone. You don't have anybody. Warner Brothers 100th anniversary, in terms of what they put out, sure, we got Casablanca, but the fact that we're getting The Departed in 4K now, that was a Best Picture winner. They should have been releasing. They should have done 100 movies in 100 years and put out 100 4K titles over the course of the year and put out 2 a week. They should have planned it, made a big deal about what was going on, and give us transfers of everything from Barry Lyndon to Excalibur to The Right Stuff to Forbidden Planet. I mean, to Contact. departed, whatever. And the problem is the people that are working there don't even know their own catalog. And even if they're looking at a list, they don't know the movies because they've never seen them. You know, if you were to go to somebody at Warner Brothers and go, yeah, man, when's Excalibur coming out? What's Excalibur? And you know, I've started doing some preliminary inquiries. I have this idea I want to create, one of the things I really want to do is I want to make some 6-scale action figures. And I want to make them licensed. And I have a very specific target, a very specific thing that I want to do. And Warner Brothers, a lot of these characters come from Warner Brothers films, or Warner Brothers films that are also MGM films that they own. That's all I can say. But you know, they're like, why do you want to do that? You know, what? You know, if you and I don't, people are like, is anybody gonna buy those? And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to make them so I can have them. But if somebody else will, hopefully will because they'd be done in small enough runs. But the funny thing is, the studio, it's almost like they don't, the license fee would be too much to even make the figures. They just don't care. And it's wild because they don't even know what you're talking about. You know, if I said, I want to make a Charlton Heston figure from the Omega Man and then also one from Soylent Green, they're like, what? Why would you want to do that? And you want with his cap and his machine gun. Well, yeah, that's Fox. That's already tied up. But yeah, I mean, you could. The thing is, if you wanted to do dystopian, a whole line of dystopian action figures from dystopian sci-fi films of the 70s.
Yeah. There's a market.
There you go. That's what I want to do. I mean, go with God. But there would be sets, and you know, there's about 10 movies if you line them up and go, okay, I see.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's one in particular that is a Fox film that Elizabeth wants more than anything, and I'm like, if you were to go to Disney and try and license this and say, I want to make an action figure of this character from this movie, they would look at you and go, why? Why would you possibly? Who would possibly want that? And I'm like, well, the 387 people on the planet Earth that think like I do.
Yeah.
And those 387 people will indeed buy this figure for $175.
There's an indie toy company called Plastic Meatball that just licensed Farscape. They're going to do a whole slew of Farscape action figures and merchandise. So there's somebody out there who wants to buy that stuff.
I supported the Expanse action figure Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they just added the chair, the command chair was one of their stretch goals. And I'm like,
oh that's awesome.
I mean, they're not 6-scale, they're 12-scale, but still.
Yeah.
And I've supported Wandering Planet's prisoner action figures, which are awesome.
Right. Those are 18 scale, right? Those are the little.
Yeah, well, 3 3/4, and they're putting out they're making the Asian cab driver. The hot Asian that drives around the little cabs, they're making her figure in wave 2.
Nice.
So I'm like, yep.
Yeah, so there's a market out there. I still say there's a whole untapped James Bond 3 3/4 figure market that never got exploited.
Well, I've got your figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've got Martino Silmoni was buying me all these Playmates things, like got me the Playmates Aston Martin DB5.
The Playmobil, yeah.
The Playmobil, did I say Playmates? Playmobil one, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to do any more Bond stuff. I would love if they did a Lotus and they did a.
I want Little Nelly from You Only Live Twice. Yeah, the auto gyro.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, they did a. Look, if I was a kid, if I would be like, I want Spectre's volcano base.
Right.
You know, because their Star Trek things are all those. The Bird of Prey and the Enterprise, which is hanging right up above me, is awesome.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if they did like a volcano base that has the rocket that that eats the other capsules?
Playmobil,
and you could drop the ninjas down on the wires that come down from the.
They already make a rocket on the scaffold thing and whatnot, so it wouldn't take them that much longer to kind of expand from that into a whole.
No, and you could open it up. You could open up the the volcano.
The lake door slides back.
Yeah, the lake slides. Come on, man. That'd be the funny thing about that is that every year that goes by, there's less and less people that would be interested.
That would be, yeah. I know.
And since I was a kid, I'm like, they never did, like, there was Action Man James Bonds, there was the Corgi James Bonds, the diecast, but they've never done a great line of Bond. And look, there's been actually the Sideshow did great with the Bond license about 20 years ago. And I wish that and Big Chief Toys, if they didn't go out of business, they did some pretty good stuff. Like I have their Live and Let Die figures. I have Solitaire, Baron Samedi, and Roger Moore. Those are good. Yeah. But I would love to see like the vehicles.
Exactly. You have to be at a smaller scale to do the vehicles and do the to make it doable. Like I love a Playmobil Atlantis space from The Spy Who Loved Me. Are you kidding me? With a little ramp to drop into the shark and a little shooting, the little missile that shoots and opens up, and it's the speedboat. I mean, it would have.
Oh yeah. Oh that. Yeah. the whole Atlantis play set.
Totally, that would be incredible.
with where the helicopter lands and there's the
landing
bubble.
pad. Yeah. No.
Well, Corgi made that. Corgi made the Laparis helicopter, or the not whatever it was. What was it? I forget. Strongbow.
The base was Atlantis. Liparis was the
that was the vessel. That was the
oil tanker.
The oil tanker that opened up.
That's another one you could make. Oil tanker opens up and a submarine comes out of it and stuff. I mean,
the ultimate play set. Do that for the 3 3/4 figures and make it huge.
Could you imagine? All right, enough fantasizing about toys here. Jay sends in a super chat saying, "Love the channel and your knowledge of film. Happy birthday!" So there's.
Man, did you read that in one of the comments on one of the shows last week? Somebody said that birthday thing is so stupid.
Well,
like they were angry about it, and I'm like, okay. The whole fun thing about having a YouTube channel is when people come up with these running jokes,
exactly.
And they're hilarious. They never, and I don't understand. It's like the nicknames that I use at the beginning of I didn't make those up.
It's all born out of the community.
People made those up. And that the picture I used, the white drawing, I mean, when we lost one of our own, Mark Chure drew that, and he was the channel's official conservative, He was here for years. I didn't even know that he was ill, like Fernando Barrero
as well. Yeah.
So I'm not going to stop using that picture of him.
Right.
It's a way to keep him alive.
All right, we got Brian Erdy very patiently waiting here. Welcome, Brian. You should be able to join Rob now.
I hope I gave you enough play with your book on the show.
That was very kind. Thank you.
That was awesome. That book is awesome.
Thanks so much.
I couldn't believe how many Day of the Dead comics you made. I'm like, okay, this guy and I, we're simpatico here.
Yeah. It's obviously when you love something, it's a whole lot easier to make jokes out of it.
Right, but it was the choices of things that you chose. I mean, because I love Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite. I love Romero's. I love the whole Night of the Living Dead trilogy, but. Day of the Dead when it came out was a big deal because I love Dawn of the Dead so much, and it was to me it was like seeing Day of the Dead was like seeing a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
I mean it was, and it didn't disappoint. It might not be as fun as Dawn of the Dead, but it's great. I love Day of the Dead, and the gore effects in that movie are still unsurpassed. I think.
Yeah, it's a tight movie. It doesn't mess around, and the effects. I mean, that's Romero at the top of his form, and I love it.
So good.
The most popular Day of the Dead cartoon I did was when I had the Chopper from Dawn of the Dead past the Chopper from Day of the Dead. And it's stuff like
that was the coolest thing about Zack Snyder's. I went into seeing Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I've never been so primed to hate a movie.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I liked it. I was like pleasantly, but in the director's cut, the home video version, you see the WGON helicopter fly
Yeah.
And I was like, bravo.
So I have a question, but before I do that, here in Atlanta, Georgia, they have an annual amazing toy show called Toylanta.
I've seen pictures.
I went yesterday.
Oh.
And I'm so like beside myself with the loot that I picked up. And can I show you a couple things?
Oh, yes, you can. Hang on, I'm gonna put you I want to see what you got. Now, what is that?
That is the Burger King Empire Strikes Back sticker
God.
with the stickers, never used. And I had that as a kid. And
wow.
lost
That
it
looks
years
like
ago.
it's in mint condition too.
Oh, it's perfect. It's beautiful. And this is Presto Magics, Return of the
Oh
Jedi.
my God,
Presto
I remember those, man. I haven't seen those in ages.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. I got the Lawgiver.
Oh, is that is amazing. You know, Sideshow made that. They made a statue of that, a big statue of that. That's amazing. That looks. Who makes that? Or did somebody?
Nika.
Oh, okay, Neka. Yeah.
But I missed it when it was released, and found a dealer who had it and negotiated to get it. So 2 more items. I'm saving my favorite for last. I'm a big Evel Knievel guy. I love the
one of the greatest toy lines of all time
ever.
The chopper. Do you remember the chopper?
Oh yeah, the chop. Yeah. Scramble van.
The scramble van was awesome because you could set the ramp up off the back of it.
Yeah. The one Evel Knievel toy that I don't have is the Sky Cycle X2 toothbrush. And a guy had it. I've never even seen. I've seen pictures of it.
Didn't they make a die-cast version of that?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they never made a toy. Did they ever make that for the? They made the Snake River Canyon rocket. But did they ever make that sky thing for the figures? They didn't, did they?
Well, it's the Snake River. That's all the same.
But the Snake River Canyon thing didn't look like the long rocket like that is.
Right. Yeah, it was a little bit more
chunky. Yeah,
small.
it was a yeah.
So the last thing, I missed this when it came out, and the great thing about Toylanta is it's not just toys, it's CDs, records, it's everything. I mean, you could spend 3 days there and not visit every booth, but a dealer had a soundtrack that I missed out on, and it's the score from the Bad News Bears. I love that movie so much.
It's great.
It's
very politically incorrect. And I love it.
God. And it's like being a kid in the 70s. That's what it was like being a kid in the 70s. You know, it's why our generation is the way that we are. But, I was real happy with
today's generation's kids couldn't take living in the 70s.
No.
They would last about a week.
Right.
Hey, please send me back to my own time. I can't handle it.
Walter Matthau giving the kids beer in that movie. It cracks me up.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. I just watched that recently. It's so good. Yeah, it's so good.
So I have a question to wrap up with. So I have been working on a video of my office and it's finished. You were talking about, you did this a couple of years ago. You were inviting people to like make a video.
Yep.
What format? How do I get that to you?
Just send it to. Did you do it as a MOV file?
Yeah.
You just send it to me.
Okay.
Did you have my email address?
You have many email addresses.
Can you hear? I'll just put it in the chat.
Okay. Cool.
Just send it to me via Can you use WeTransfer?
Sure.
Okay, here I'll just put it in my. It's just my 1701. It's
Okay.
RM Burnett 1701 at gmail.com.
Okay. Rock and roll.
We're live. I forgot. It's not just a member chat. Hi, everybody. Send me whatever kind of pics you want. Kidding. But yes, I'll play your office. I'll send me whatever. It'd be great. I'll play it.
Cool.
because that stuff, the stuff you sent me was the best.
Cool. Well, thanks again for the shout out for the book. I appreciate it. And
Did anybody buy one?
no, you know what? I only have like 2 left, and I had a couple people
Oh.
reach out, and so I've gone back to the guy that did that for me, and I was like, you know, I'd like to do another print run. There's a few things I want to tweak, and yeah, I'm gonna make that happen.
You should, because I'll just post it when you do make another print run, because it's really fun. That book is really fun.
Thank you very much.
So I was surprised. What I thought was so interesting about it was the thought process, the things that you chose to focus on that I like so much. Not
Yeah.
just because it was stuff I liked, but it was I mean, clearly you and I like the same stuff, but it was just funny to me to see the things that you like, oh, because you know, when I was meeting a lot of my friends that I have now in the 90s, like in LA, all these people came to Los Angeles, and geeks from all over the world. And when you would meet them, it was interesting to see which touchstones people had, like what brought them in. Like everybody likes Star Trek and everybody likes Star Wars. That was fine. But it was the other stuff, like Day of the Dead. Were you a Romero fan? Because there are people that like, oh yeah, I saw it. They liked horror movies, but they didn't worship at the altar of Dawn of the Dead. Like when I met one guy that we would just quote, we could quote the entirety of Dawn of the Dead. And it was like, why is it that? Why do I like to live and die in LA so much? So you'd find the people that had the weird touchstones that you did that like this same things, and that was fun. And reading your book, I'm like, you and I clearly have these, because there's things that's reason just because of the kind of person you are, as opposed to I love this, but I don't love this. But there's the specificity of your book. I was like, okay. That I got a particular kick out of a lot of your touchstones. That's why I really liked your book so much, because I didn't know when I was looking through it, I didn't know what was going to be next. It was like a box of chocolates, you know, reading through it. I quite enjoyed it. So well done, sir.
Great to see you, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Mario Lopez has asked if he could come in next, just because he is in a very tight timeline. So if that's okay, I'm going to go ahead and have Mario jump in right now.
I might be coming to visit. I might be coming to Portugal, Mario.
Oh.
There's a possibility I might be coming to Portugal. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. It's really nice that you coming to Portugal.
I think, well, there's a film festival in Portugal that we might be showing White Devils at. So I will contact you. I don't know where this festival is. Something with an X in it, Screen X. I don't know what it is, but it's a festival that one of our producers is aware of. So we're either going to go to Portugal and Sigis, or just Portugal. I don't know, because I can't wait to go to Portugal. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to take you out to dinner and get you drunk, take your mom out, and go see our movie. Of course, our movie's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant experience. Maybe not take your mom.
See that movie.
Yeah. My mom can't either. So, but we'll go. So what's going on?
I've seen the Alien new movie teaser.
Right.
I really like it. I've sent you this year 4 letters. Unfortunately, I lost one that was about people that die in movies that were completely stupid or that ruin a franchise. I don't know if you read that letter, but I didn't saw it. And I want to talk to you about that, because when I've seen Aliens 12 times in the movies, and when I see Alien 3 and I saw Michael Biehn and Newt die in the beginning of the movie, I hated that so much.
I hated it.
And it was so... I don't understand who was the person that approved that almost ruined the Alien franchise.
Have you, I'll tell you, have you ever seen the Alien quadrilogy box set? Has documentaries that are incredible. They're like hours long. And the whole thing about the development of Alien 3 and how it wound up being the way it's one of the great documentaries on how a movie went off the rails that I've ever seen. So it'd be worth picking up. My friend Charlie Lazarica did those documentaries, and they're essential viewing, because the first director of Alien 3 was a New Zealander named Vincent Ward, and he was going to have this. The original version, it was set on a wooden planet. It was a planet, an artificial planet where these monks lived. And so it's what we ended up seeing was kind of an amalgamation of Vincent Ward's ideas they thought were too weird, but it would have been a really interesting way to go. But yeah, killing Newt and killing Michael Biehn at the beginning, and then they just did it. You didn't see them. It was so terrible that they did that. But the version of Alien 3 that's on those discs is like a half an hour longer. It's the assembly cut. It's almost like a different movie. It's not a good movie, but it's a lot better than Alien 3. And I've always liked the tone of it, but why they had to do that, I'll never understand. I hated it.
And if they choose today to recast all the actors and make the Alien 3 the sequel to Alien, I'm pretty sure it could be a great success. But that's what the people want, to see the story of that character. We don't need Sigourney Weaver. They could recast her.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why it's going to be really interesting to see this new Alien movie, Alien Romulus, because at least I think it has a really interesting underlying idea. I hope.
Yes, it looks really good.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I had really high hopes for Prometheus, but then Prometheus is a beautiful looking movie, but the whole movie is so stupid. Everybody in it's so stupid, and the people and the plot is stupid. Even the idea of the way the aliens supposedly seed Earth. You know, you can't create an entire biosphere from
the Sulaco crew were more intelligent than those scientists.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why that movie is so much fun, is because aliens work so well because the crew they're smart. And even though they're smart, they've never come up against anything like this before, so they don't know what hit them. And I think that's part of I think it's a great it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
One of the best sequels ever made.
Shogun, it's really good.
It's really good. Yeah,
so
I really like it.
People speak English. That's a new thing.
Right. It's weird because the first Shogun, they didn't have a lot of English subtitles. You know, they didn't tell you what the Japanese were saying because it was much more from the perspective of Blackthorne. And as you watch the original, you kind of learn to speak Japanese along with him. And it's different. They've chosen to go a different way, which I totally understand, but it's still great.
Yeah,
it's still great.
At least in the movie, The Mission, the Portuguese are the bad guys, but they win in the end. So I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
When will you come to Portugal? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Sometime this year, if we go and get into this festival. I mean, we're trying to finish up this movie. I think the edit is finally done this week. I think we all signed off. So now we have to get the new sound mix done. And because we added more, this is what I was a couple months back, I went for a day and we added more gore and violence to the movie. So I doubled. I was supposed to be a hanging body and I get whipped to death. So they put all these prosthetics on me, and now we finally intercut all of that material into the film. So I'm not going to get credited for it, but that's my body getting whipped and destroyed. So we're done now.
Okay. I don't want to there are more people that want to talk to you. It was really nice because it has been a long time that we didn't talk. So it was nice to.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Of course, say hi to your mom for me.
I will. She's always reminding me that she likes that you do that.
Yeah, of course. Tell her I'll buy her a nice dinner when I come to Portugal, and we don't have to show her a horror movie.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, and to Roberto too. Thank you, and to all the people that are in the chat. Sorry.
Of course. Of course,
Good to see
buddy.
you, Mario.
Good to see you, and have a good dinner. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Stubble's had a great tragedy in his life, but I've got him covered.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay,
Well,
Stubble.
maybe he can tell us a little bit more about it. Welcome, Stubble. You should be able to join us now.
Hi, I saw you read my direct message.
I did. I read your direct message. He had a great hard drive loss,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to send him a few files I'd sent him previously.
Yeah.
To make
If
sure.
it's okay, if it's not okay,
Of course, it's okay. Yeah, no, what those files are meant to be shared by people.
Yeah. By the way,
have you started watching those?
not yet. I just
Those
got them
those
I got on
transfers are, if you've only ever seen Twilight Zone on regular broadcast television, because when I put in those, because those are like they remastered about 10 years ago. Those transfers are unbelievable. It's like watching Twilight Zone all over again for the first time.
Yeah.
They're so good. There's so many good special features on those discs.
Yeah. I haven't watched them for like 20 or 30 years or something, so it would be great to pick it up again. And
157 episodes.
I think it was 156. I think, or maybe it was 100.
I think they have a pilot. I think there's a pilot on there. There's because they had their initial. There's something on there that's an extra thing. I think it's the initial pilot that they did or something. But that box set is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I will have to check it out when I watched all the other things I'm have to.
Yeah. Well, what's great about it is they're only like 25 minutes long. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you're going to leave and go someplace in an hour, you can throw one in.
Instead
You
of
know,
watching 2 10-minute YouTube videos, watch one episode of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I watch something specifically on streaming, I do spend most of my time watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. Speaking of watching stuff, I watched through the Free Body Problem.
And you're the first person that I've talked to.
I think it was a good adaptation.
I did too.
And it clearly was an adaptation because they changed a few things.
Yes.
But I think it works better on the screen the way they did it rather than just directly from the page.
No, do you think anyone's going to watch it?
I thought about when I watched the first episode, I thought it's not a really strong hook in the first episode.
No, I don't think the hook comes in until episode 3, and I think a lot of people are going to watch it and think it's boring.
Yeah, they needed something to really hook them in the first episode, I think. It just, science fiction fans who will watch, and maybe some other who will. But I think they will lose a lot of people after the first episode because there's nothing there to really hook them.
No, I agree, and I mean, I really liked the show overall.
Yeah,
and there's some really
I like the actors. The actors were great.
They were great. They were great. I loved, and I especially loved Sir Davos. I call him Sir Davos from Game of Thrones. Liam Cunningham. He was so good in the show.
He is so ruthless.
So he's just the best, and I love Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah, and
was what happens to them? Was that in the book with the wire and the ship?
Yes, it was. It was maybe not exactly depicted the way it was, but it was in the book.
I'm like, it was in the book, but I don't think it happened quite that way. And I'm like,
and the wire thing is just, that's one of the you have to buy into.
I loved it. Because that's not the only time I've seen there's a movie called Ghost Ship. I think it's that has something very similar, and I'm like, that was awesome. I mean, and there was really cool stuff. I mean, I thought that they did I really thought that the voice, the girl and her voice, that woman that was cast, and the voice of the Lord and all that, voice was great. Because that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, and I love the Benedict Wong and Rosalind Chow.
Yeah, Rosalind Chow was great.
Yeah,
she was great. It was so good to see her.
Keiko O'Brien.
O'Brien, she went off the rails.
Yeah,
it was really good.
but I didn't really. It was one cast member I didn't really connect with, and that was the Latin girl. Gonzalez is the actor's.
Yeah, I mean, she's absolutely
surname.
beautiful, but she was
but I couldn't really connect with her. I don't know why. But the rest
she was
were
always
great.
kind of she was not likable.
No.
She was always too harsh. I mean, I thought her part was great, but she was too. Oh, I kept wanting to like give her a hug or something.
Yeah.
Can you
And
just chill out?
John Bradley is much better in this show than he was not. He was okay in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
He was okay, but I thought he has grown as an actor.
Oh, he's really, really good. I mean, everybody I thought they're really good. I mean, it's funny because the show requires, like the book, it's a smart show. They didn't dumb it down. I mean, obviously they they truncated the storyline, but I thought like you, and I was surprised how deep they went into book 2.
Yeah, I think they went more or less halfway through book 2. I haven't read book 2, but I noticed where I didn't recognize stuff anymore.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, but it's great that you have to stick it out for a few episodes to really get hooked by the show.
Yeah, episode 3 and 4 though. If you get to 3 and 4, you're hooked.
Yeah, and
it's just really interesting.
having Shogun, Free Body Problem, and Rama. He's doing Rama.
I know.
And great stuff.
I know. You know what else was really good was The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie TV series.
I didn't see that.
It's a prequel to the movie, but the show is, I thought, really good.
Right.
And I've got to say, I started watching this relatively old. I don't know what. It's a show called Marcella about this cop, and it's a BBC. It's a Norwegian British co-production, and there's 3 seasons of it. And Elizabeth, I saw, was in it from Battlestar Galactica, who played Apollo, and the show's insane. It's all like realistic. And I started watching this, I'm watching the 2nd season. And I'm like, this show's crazy. I don't know why I started.
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment really.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but the Crow trailer teaser. I didn't really like it, but I think it was doomed from the start, even how they would have done it because of what happened for Brandon Lee.
Yeah,
everyone will have its claws out for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes when you look at, look, I hope it'll be good, but I don't think any of the choices that they've made. I mean, The Crow is a fantasy film.
Yeah.
And I understand they've taken away there's a dark, gothic, romantic element to that movie that's completely absent, at least from the trailer. And I mean, maybe the movie's good. I'll watch it.
But if you're doing a remake of The Crow, it has to be really, really good, because otherwise it will be torn into shreds.
Yeah.
Because that The Crow is sacred to many people.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a fairy tale. You have to approach it as a modern fairy tale.
Yeah.
And,
but one thing that I noticed with The Crow, it's a fantasy, it's a gothic fantasy, but there's very many similarities with RoboCop.
Right. Yep.
It's just that it's a romantic version of RoboCop.
Yeah. No, it is. And of course, J.O. Barr, who wrote it, the comic artist and writer, it's based on something that really happened to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't come back from the dead to avenge his girlfriend, but
I assumed as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a melancholy reality to it all. And it was just, the remake of it is, I mean, look, maybe it'll be good. But watching the trailer, I was like, I don't know.
Roberto, how much time do I have left?
You're out of time, but it's okay. I'll give you're still have
a
question. I did want to ask you, did you see that there's Sanderson has a new Kickstarter out for some new books or something that he's doing?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it. It's up to like 20 million or something.
Oh my!
Is it really?
So close to that. You know,
Wow.
I think it's a few days left.
Unbelievable.
It's the next leather bound in his the second leather bound in Stormlight Archive series.
Right. That's
I
I
think
love that he gets to go right to his audience.
Yeah, and you know, he has a YouTube thing that he has. You know, every week he says, "This is how far I am in this book. This is how far I am in this book." You know, he has a conversation with his fans, with his audience, constantly, and it's not many authors that do that.
No, and that it pays off too.
Yeah.
You know, I really think as we move forward into the 21st century, I think anybody who's creating, any creator like him, especially authors, that is going to be more and more important because people want to have a connection. If you're going to read someone's book nowadays, there's going to be so much AI garbage that we're going to have to sift through. I mean, I already hate YouTube running across all like, ooh, here's a new review channel or something, and they're going to talk about Star Trek, and it's some AI generated bullshit that is just ridiculous, and I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm already tired of AI. At least AI generated content, because you really feel that it has no soul to it. It's content that's just regurgitating stuff that you already know.
Yeah.
And I think having Brandon Sanderson go and talk to his audience directly that's the only way to go. Hence his $20 million Kickstarter.
Yeah.
If there's AI, there will never be a new free body problem because that's so out of the box.
Sure.
Oh yeah, totally. And I love the fact that you know, it's wild to think, because we've been pitted against the Chinese, and obviously they're a weird amalgamation of totalitarian communism and capitalism as well. But the fact that we have a Chinese national writing the three body problem that is now being translated, you know, into English and turned into a big TV series. I mean, to me, that's progress. I mean, that's positive.
And it's full circle because he was inspired by 2001 himself. So, you know, it's so interesting that, you know, he as a young person watching 2001 inspired him to want to do a 2001 equivalent from a Chinese perspective, right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is rather than kill each other, you know, it would be nice to see more of our cultures do that same kind of thing. And now we have, I mean, it's amazing that we have the Chinese three body problem, just three body, that you can watch on their 10-cent YouTube channel. And now we have this. I mean, it's been adapted twice. And I think it's a celebration of culture rather than worrying about massing troops on, you know, in Taiwan. And like, what is the point? Why not stop killing each other and let's start making science fiction shows? But there's so many people that would rather do this kind of thing. It's such a waste. It's just such a waste.
Yeah. The Swallow and Hyperion next, but I'm out of time.
Hey, Stubble, just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you've seen this, but I saw a person on Instagram who took the entire Wheel of Time book series and bound it into one book. She took all of them, stacked them all together.
How do you do that?
You have to see it. I'll try to find it for you. So then
you'll need a wheelbarrow or something.
It literally is the length of like a dining room table, and it's all bound in one giant book. I have to show it to you, but it's insane.
How do you even read something like that?
The moment I saw it, I was just like, Stubble has to see this. It's ridiculous, but it's totally crazy. So yeah, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Good to see you, Stubble. All right. Let me where did we go here? Hold on.
And Major Chai who sent me down that Lego rabbit hole again. Gotta stay away from that shit.
Let's get Major Chai in here. Welcome, Major.
Hi.
People have been talking about your Witch King cosplay.
Yeah.
How's that coming?
Well, it's going along fine. First, I have to say thank you for all those sweet things you said about me a couple weeks ago.
Well, it was great to meet you a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, it's going to cost me. Got to get that Lego set. I didn't know they made a Sopwith camel.
Oh, that was years ago too. So
I know. I mean, and there's, you go down the most dangerous thing. One of the most dangerous things for people like myself is to look up, all the MOCs and the stuff people are making when it comes to Lego, because I found somebody who did an Earth Defense Directorate, a Thunder Fighter from Buck Rogers in the 25th century
oh,
in
really?
Lego. And I'm like, it's awesome. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get that. And then of course you have to buy the instructions and then get you have to buy all the parts because you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I mean, somebody did that years ago with the Discovery from 2001. They made a Lego Discovery and they made the Alexei Leonov from 2010. This was like 20 years ago. And that's when I first realized, oh, you can just buy pieces and they'll send them to you.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So I have the helmet here if you want to see it.
Oh, yes, we do.
But
yes.
first, again, you're very sweet about saying how talented I was, but I have to give credit where credit is due. All the talent is the people who put out the tutorials that I followed, and that's Bill and Britt Doran at Punished Props Academy and Stephen K. Smith at SKS Props.
Nice.
Those tutorials. All the talent I have is just following their instructions and maybe.
Yeah, but that's hard.
and recovering from the mistakes I made in the process.
That's like when I watch model making videos, painting videos on YouTube,
Okay.
but it's still hard.
Yeah.
So let's see it. Let's see your helmet, your Witch King of Angmar helmet. Oh my God, look at that.
Do you want me to put it on?
Yes, I do. Wow, you even got the dents and things in there. That's so cool. Now, what is that made out of? You said it was foam?
It's foam.
Wow. How long did it? Now, what did you use to paint it with?
So it's a variety of things. So spray paint,
Right.
graphite powder.
Because I love the aging, the quote metal aging you got on there. That's so cool.
Acrylic paint, like heavy body acrylic paint, in like burnt umber or raw umber or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah. So I accidentally cut a hole when I was doing it, so I had to cover it up. That's the great thing about playing evil characters is like.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I could never be an elf because I'd be an ugly elf, but I make a pretty good looking Nazgul,
There's no mistakes when it
come
comes
on,
to
don't
this
sell
stuff.
yourself short. You could be an elf.
No mistakes. It's all adding character.
That's right. That's really cool. That's really big. Now, how much time does that represent? How long did it take you to make that?
This was probably 2 or 3 weekends because you had
That's not bad.
You had to do it. I had to do it in a couple steps because you had to spray paint it, let it dry, spray paint, let it dry. These guys, these guys are the ones that were.
Are those also foam?
Yeah, they're foam. They were dowels, foam dowels, and they were a bitch.
Yeah.
Make because I didn't have access to my bench sander, so I had to use my Dremel to get them to the point that they needed to be, and roughly the same shape all around for all, I think 16 of them.
Wow.
So
that's really cool.
So thank you. And I appreciate that, given that you kind of the connection to the movies that you had. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just, it's funny because seeing how cosplay has evolved over like the last 25 years, it has really been fascinating to watch. I mean, the level of creativity and ability of people has just, I think it's a combination of things like Ren fairs and cosplay at conventions. I mean, the level of creativity and ability is just spectacer.
And the technology. I mean,
right.
Being able to see one of my goals is to get a CO2 laser at some point, and so I can laser cut. So the gauntlets I had made, I went to a maker space at the local library to help me cut the pieces. Otherwise, I would have to use an X-Acto knife to cut.
Yeah,
everything.
right. Yeah.
And I've only been doing cosplay for like 2 years.
Wow.
So I just did it on a lark. My first costume was I went as No Face from Spirited Away, and that was like
wow.
that was a couple of bed sheets, some cardboard, and florist foam.
But again, that's a cool half of cosplay is the character you decide to cosplay. That's the fun of and seeing how you realize that character. It's like the very first episode of Observations I did. I went up and saw my friend Greg Smith at his house in Olympia, Washington, because he built a 1-to-1 scale land speeder from Star Wars. And I filmed it, and he's been cosplaying with the 501st for years.
Yeah.
So, which is great.
And so next year is my kids have decided I'm going to be Edna mode. So I'm already thinking about next year.
No capes.
No
capes.
capes. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to do that. And I'll evaluate all the superheroes and
that's a perfect. The glasses are the key.
Yeah, I have a friend, a coworker, that's into 3D printing, and I'm going to ask him to 3D print the glasses for me. And I think that'll be a good intermediate step, because the ultimate goal, and I know everybody's going to love this, my ultimate goal is to cosplay as Captain Rachel Garrett.
Wow, from the Enterprise C.
Yeah, shrapnel to the forehead and all.
You've got because you've got the hair for it.
I got the hair for it.
Yeah, that's that is her voice too. She's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a great character to do.
And but I have to get my sewing skills up, because the uniform has to be impeccable.
Right.
Before I destroy it. Yeah.
She was one of the great guest stars in Next Generation. That character she's great. They really cast that well. But
I can really see you in that character. You already have the hair. I mean, I can totally see
me
you.
too. When you said that, I'm like, you're
the
perfect
moment you
to
said
play
it, I was just like that, and Edna mode too. I can see you doing both of those characters justice. So
yeah,
something to look forward to.
Yeah,
and you have to talk like Edna mode the entire convention.
That's right.
You have to spend the entire day doing an Edna mode impression.
So I'll have the year to get to practice my character, and this is all also, this is really helping me appreciate movies more, like you talked about, understanding costume making and fabrication in terms of props, and even in the acting piece of now with Edna mode, or even trying to play the Witch King and being intimidating, it's getting into character. So it's fun.
Great to see you.
It's
a
good one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so I have no sense of time.
Yeah, your time's up, but I just wanted to say thanks for joining us again.
My pleasure. It's been great.
And I look forward to watching the progress on these. That's going to be great to see. Rachel
Rob,
Garrett, that's a good one.
Stowell wanted me to let you know that the Sanderson campaign has 82,000 backers, and it's at $20.4 million with 6 days left.
How do you ship 80,000 books, man?
I think some of them might be ebooks, right? I mean, some of them might be.
Yeah, that's true, but
digital edition, but still.
But when you think, $20 million is a lot of money. But if you think about leather-bound books,
totally,
that's for 80,000 people.
That's that's several factories, several bookbinding companies.
Those out. It might, pocketing 20 million is great, but a lot of that's going to go to manufacturing and printing.
Sure.
But that's what I want to do. I still want to do the Imagination Connoisseur's book, but we're not going to launch. Mike didn't want to launch it till after we finish with the audio. I've been working on the audio drama, Ask the campaign. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty. I'm really happy with the audio drama outline. Max did it's really, really cool. His outline is 70 pages for the audio drama.
Wow.
70. I was like, well, at least we know what the story is. it's really well done.
That's awesome. Pedro Ferreira from Spain is going to join us now. Welcome, Pedro.
The UK.
From the UK. I always say Spain. Why do I do that? It's your name. Your name makes me think of Spain, Pedro. That's my problem. But welcome.
I'm not from Spain. I'm actually Portuguese. So.
Okay, there you go. For some reason, it's my own personal Spanish bias. So my apologies.
Yeah.
You Spanish racist. Can you be a Spanish racist? It's a language.
I don't know. How have you been?
I've been good. Busy. Things have been moving around. I like being busy, which is good.
That's good.
Creating stuff that doesn't exist.
Yeah. I've been. I haven't been able to come here because I've been ill. So past few weeks. So yeah.
Are you feeling better now?
I'm kind of getting there. I think I'm getting better. Hopefully, I'm not going to get worse. But yeah, hopefully there are no complications. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to take it a bit easy. So, but obviously because I have health anxiety, that kind of kicks into high gear and kind of makes me feel even 10 times worse. So, yeah. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, I sent you that email. I sent you that message on.
Yeah, we got to take care of that. That wasn't cool.
I was just going to say that it wasn't the mod that I was laughing at. I was laughing at the title of the stream link that he posted because I thought it was funny. And that got me banned.
Well, that's just ridiculous. There shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole history. I've shown a whole history of this kind of behavior. Like for instance, Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. When that film came out, I got into a bit of trouble in the past for posting spoilers.
Right.
So I posted spoilers for Dial of Destiny in the spoilers section of the Discord, and I got temporarily banned because he hadn't seen the film, so was in the spoiler section. Because he hadn't seen the movie, I had to get banned.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. If it's in a spoiler section, don't read the spoilers.
That's one of the examples I give of why I get banned. So, but this time I've been completely banned for just yeah.
Well, I will unban you.
Well, I tried to contact Mike Borden, but I can't get hold of him. So
his mom fell down and broke her pelvis.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's getting better though.
That's understandable.
But it's been a little rough.
Yeah. But yeah, like when I do like a 90-minute podcast about like being banned from forums and stuff like that, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, where the mods kind of go a bit crazy with power and they don't mod properly. So
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
it's never a good thing to start just banning people.
No. I mean, I've got evidence. I've got the evidence anyway. So if you want to look at it, it's like, yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I trust you.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been kind of just following like film news and stuff like that on my tablet, and I haven't really been playing. There's a game. Have you ever heard of The Crew?
No.
The game, The Crew. It's a racing game, right?
Oh,
and
the Crew.
It was released
Okay.
in 2014 by Ubisoft, and it's on Steam. And they're basically they're shutting down the service at the end of this month.
Well, that's a bummer.
What this means, and when I say shutting down the service, I mean you won't actually be able to play the game at all. Like even the single player, the servers for the single player are shutting down. So I basically bought the game. I bought all the DLC, and then 3 months before I found out that the game was coming. Literally after I bought all that stuff, I found out that the game by the end of March is being shut down. So everyone's racing to do it, and I think people are trying to launch a legal lawsuit
Wow.
Because it must be illegal, because it's illegal in a way because you're buying a game, and essentially it's not kind of legal if they can just kind of take it away from you like that. Like you don't even have access to single player. Like multiplayer I can understand, but single player
Right.
is crazy. And also, I tell you something that people don't bring up is that the whole DLC thing, because when you buy the DLC, you're buying DLC for the cars, and the cars are in the DLC, right? But when you buy the DLC, you don't actually get the cars straight away. You actually have to unlock the cars. Now, if I can't unlock the cars that I've paid money for, because I haven't reached the point where I can, because you have to use in-game currency to buy the cars, yeah? If I haven't got to that part yet, if I haven't been able to do that, then theoretically, I'm paying for something that I'm spending money, real life money, on something that I won't have access to.
Right.
So, because they're shutting down the servers. So there is actually a code in the game. There's actually a offline code in the game, but Ubisoft deactivated it. So the modders are trying to kind of illegally kind of bring the game, kind of save the game.
Right.
But it's been quite difficult to save it. So but this is an example of a game, a high profile game that that is now kind of being lost, and you won't be able to. I have it on Steam, but it will just disappear. It'll be. It goes through the official Ubisoft launcher when you play it. So the Ubisoft game will disappear from my account, and the achievements will still be there. But the incomplete achievements that I didn't get will still be there counting. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, really. But a lot of people have been complaining about it, and there have been loads of reports in the articles on the internet about it, and what this means. And then the Ubisoft, the guy working at Ubisoft has not made things easy, because he's gone and said, "Apes."
Well, I mean, this is happening more and more. You know, the shutting down these things, and the gaming thing began to annoy me when you started to have to play. Like I was really looking forward to the PlayStation 5 Hot Wheels game, the racing game.
Yeah.
And when you get it, you immediately have to start making in-game purchases to upgrade your cars and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's play to win, and it's not. And can I just say, it's not, the game's not just on Steam. This affects all the consoles. So PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, I mean,
Xbox One.
Yeah, I hate this. I mean, if I buy a game for $50 or $60, I want to be able to play the game. I don't want to have to buy in the first 5 minutes, have to upgrade my car to get up to the next level and pay for that.
So
I mean, I can't.
So for people who bought a physical copy of The Crew, it's going to be useless after March. So you won't even be able to like trade it in, because it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the world that we live in. That's just shitty. I mean,
yeah. So, so I'm kind of annoyed about that. But as you can imagine, I never played the game before. When I found out this news, I thought, well, you know what? Out of all the games on Steam, I should probably prioritize this one. So, like 3 months, just been playing and playing. But because I've been ill, I haven't been able to play for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
It's an alright game. It's not got a great story, but they actually got rid of story mode in the sequels. But yeah, it's all right. The graphics are nice. The racing is cool, but a bit too much focus on Ford cars. But it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right. Well, thanks, Pedro. Great to see you. Hope there's some better news on that on the future. I can tell you there's a card game called The Crew that came out a couple of years ago. That's a great little fun card game. If you ever want to check it out, look for The Crew card game. There's 2 versions. There's a space exploration version and there's an undersea exploration version. and it's
Okay.
it's a cooperative trick-taking game, which is kind of a weird combination because usually in trick-taking games they're not they're competitive, but
Right,
it's kind of
right.
a cool approach to
Well,
trick-taking.
the Ubisoft game, they've made two sequels, but yeah, those haven't been taken down yet. But
Yeah.
you never know with these guys.
Yeah, this is probably, I mean, it's completely unrelated, but it's a fun card game if you're looking for something that you can
Card game.
actually hold in your hands and will not get taken away once you bought it. So,
Great.
all right, take care, Pedro.
That's great.
Hey, Rob, I think we might be having a little issue with the stream again. We've had these issues in the past where the stream gets kind of frozen.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. I don't know what's going on, but we are almost at the 2-hour mark anyway. So I think we're just going to kill the stream, but we will just continue with our.
Yeah, of course. Is there any super chats we've missed or anything like that?
Nothing else. No, I don't have anything right now, but I can.
Let me just check.
I'm just totally seeing this having an issue here. I don't think we're transmitting right now. I think something's been happening when we hit right around the 2-hour mark that I've been getting these kind of pauses on streaming.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good.
So let me just go ahead and see if I can get this. Let me see. Yeah, see, I'm not even I've completely shut down here on my StreamYard thing. So I'm gonna have to force quit this and I'll start up again. So don't know what this is gonna do to the stream right now, but so let me go ahead. Yep, it looks like this audio streaming still I'm seeing, but we're not able to get everybody on board here. So let me go ahead and get you back in here, Rob. Let's see. Okay. So we should be back, but we're back to let people know that we're leaving. Just wanted to make sure that there was a proper closure to the YouTube stream. Sorry about that, folks. So, Rob, you said you have some upcoming things this weekend.
I've got upcoming shorts. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a show tonight, a Star Trek show, because I found a good article to read about that I totally agree with about everything wrong with modern Star Trek, but one's particular reason that I thought was pretty good. And then, of course, Dieter's back tomorrow for Let's Get Physical Media, and then I'll do another show tomorrow night too.
Oh, excellent. Well, with that, we are going to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. But those of you who are in the Zoom chat, the chat will continue. So we'll go ahead and oh wait, do we have any no super chats here? So we're gonna just. Did you have any chats on your
tips? No, I looked.
No tips. Okay, great. So we're done with.
I have 2 tips that I've got to read on the show from yesterday, but I caught up with those.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye then. Take care, everybody. Checking out all the other content in the channel, and have a good rest of your weekend.